Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with the first video for 2019, and what a better way to start the year with the Spellbinders January card kit. So first, let's look at what the card kit comes with. It's called You're My Type, so of course, I have the feeling there's going to be a love theme going on here. So your kit will come packaged this way, and their kits are kind of staying, well, they're staying the same. So what's really great is some of these items that are in the kits are also available as add-ons. And again, as always, I'll have everything linked down below in the video description. So not only do you get the regular 10 cards that are already scored 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, their standard A2 size, and their side folding, but you also get these 3, and they have a really nice glossy finish on them in a red, a pink, and a white. Here are the regular 10 cards with the 10 envelopes, as you always get in the kit. One of the things that I do like about their card bases is the texture that's on the paper. You get a 6x6 full paper pad, and again, this is paper. This is not a heavy cardstock. This is not 110 pound. I'm going to say it's in the range of 65. It's beautiful for layering. You can make it thicker just by putting it on top of other cardstocks, which is what I do, because I'm kind of rough when it comes to building cards, and I'm getting better. Get some beautiful glitter stickers, some enamel dots and hearts and other shapes, your double-sided tape, and your double-sided foam squares. This is the cardstock that will come in your kit for January: a nice bright green, a pink, a yellow, a grayish blue, a white, and an ivory. A beautiful pack of die cuts, and you get so many. Now also what's in here are some Puffy stickers. So I'm going to show just some of the die cuts and what they look like just by pulling some of them out. You get 2 of each. Yeah, this is where I decided, let's just pull them out and play. You get 2 of each image. So there's some sentiments in here. There's florals, there's hearts. There's other types of images, there's animals, there's birds, there's cameras, there's cassettes, you name it. This is just one of the Puffy stickers, and this is the other one with the cute little bear. And again, they each have their own sentiments. You get a stamp set, and this one is just all sentiments, and they're all great. Different types of fonts, very versatile. And the moment I saw this, you'll see what I did. I just did something really different. You get your dies, and this is jam-packed with a lot of dies. The number that you get is 11 in total. So you get a typewriter. That square, that rectangle actually will fit into the typewriter. You get some sentiments, some flowers, some leaves, this most adorable container of sequins. Yeah, I'm all about the containers. I think they are absolutely precious. And that's everything that comes in the kit. So let's get started and start creating our cards. So I just grab some of, excuse me, some of my, I call it scrap cardstock. It's cardstock that I play with. I want to see what a dies cut looks like, just to get an idea, so that I don't go into my Nina's. Those more expensive and more pricey cardstocks. I mean, let's face it. So I just have this stack. It's stuff that I get from the office, from my office store. It's 110 pound text weight. So I just cut it down to the size, and then this is what I put my pattern paper on when it's the thinner weight. I like the thinner weights. There's more you can do with it, and there's a lot of beautiful designs in this one. So this just makes it a little bit more sturdy. So I grabbed some of the die cuts. I'm going to use the double-sided tape, which you can do, and that's the beauty of this kit as well. The moment you get it, you can start creating. because you have double-sided adhesive, you have your foam squares, you have everything that you need to start creating kits. Now, some of us, we have developed our habits. Me, I'm liking liquid glue. I am leaning towards that more and more. Only certain things will I pull in my double-sided tapes. So you'll see me, I do pull in my liquid adhesive. So I saw this beautiful bird cage with the florals coming around it, and this sentiment in the die cuts that just simply says love. So these are going to get directly adhered to the black and white stripe panel, and then my floral is going to come in right underneath the word love. I love the colors that are in this too. So there's reds, there's pinks, there's like a seafoam, there's a pool color in the blues. I just really like the feel of it. Very warm. So I'm going to grab some of the enamel dots and I'm going to place them along the front just to give it some shimmer and shine. And of course I made sure that there was a heart in between the two little tiny birds. And we're going to get this ready to put on top of our 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 side folding card base. And again, these do already come scored for you. I just use 3 pieces of the tape, put it down on each of the sides, one down the center. I make sure it's secured, and then I use my tool-in-one craft pick to lift up the release paper, or else I'd be here all day trying to lift that up. Yeah, there's just some things I have problems with. And that is our first card. I thought I put the card on upside down. That's what I was doing there. Yes, but I didn't. So for card number 2, I'm still digging in those die cuts. I always like to show you the versatility of all those die cuts and how you can create with those cards. Excuse me. So I'm getting my panel ready to create my design panel. So I grabbed a piece of the pattern paper and I'm going to trim the edge so that it's the same size. And again, when I'm trimming my cardstocks, they are already trimmed down to what I refer to as a scant 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it is just under 4 1/4 and it's just under 5 1/2 inches. And I have them stacked in a box so I can just grab them. I grabbed all of the hearts from the die cuts. I don't think there was one left behind. And I'm just placing them on top of this panel. Some are they're facing all kinds of different directions, as you can see. And now I'm going to glue them in place. Now I'm also going to make sure that they hang off the edge, because that helps to create the movement, or what I think helps to create movement on the card, so that it's just not stuck there, even though that's what it is. And it also adds some dimension, make it look like this is pattern paper. That you created or that you purchased, whichever way you want to look at it. I'm going to trim the edges with my scissors, and then this way we have our panel all ready to go. And I think it's one of those things that you like, like waiting for the embossing powder to melt, that stuff. I like doing that trimming. So I grabbed the envelope and the love banner that came in the die cuts, and I'm just going to set those down towards the bottom right hand corner, and I'm going to prop up the envelope over the sticks from the love banner, and then just set that in place. Once that is set in place, because that'll give me my dimension, I'm going to add the heart with the arrows, or the hearts with the arrow. That came from one of the Puffy sticker sets, and I just want that to go across the envelope. Going to adhere my double-sided tape onto my card base so that I can set my design panel onto the front. And that is our second card. As I said, I really like the color palette with this. While they're pinks and reds, they're different shades of those. So again, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to set up my design panel, putting down my double-sided tape, and then putting my cardstock down on top of it. Now, I was going to put the polka dot one, changed my mind. I want to go with the chevron beige and white as the full background. Once that's set, I'm going to look at the polka dots and I'm going to trim that down. Now, that panel is actually going to be trimmed down to 4 3/4, and that will sit in the center of this panel. I'm not going to prop it up. I'm just going to adhere it directly down onto that card. My dimension's going to come out when it comes to the die cuts that I put onto the panel. So that's just something that I look at. I mean, I love dimension. I am all about dimension. I am all about texture when it comes to the cards. But, you know, if I keep putting layers or double-sided foam tape or using my foam on each of these layers, it would be very difficult. We could mail it, but I mean, we would have a lot of postage going on there. So I kind of pick and choose. If I know I'm going to have a lot of dimension on my focal points, then I'll let the background be flat. So just a little idea of a thought process there. I set the balloon directly down onto the panel, but coming off the polka dot panel and onto the chevron. Again, that movement. I'm going to prop up these two adorable lovebirds just below, and I'm going to use one of the die cut sentiments that says I love you underneath, and I'm going to make sure it looks like that they're standing on top of that. Going to set that down in place, and I was going to add those rows of hearts because they're just really pretty, but I thought I had enough, so I wanted to stop there. So I'm going to set this up onto my card panel, get that set, and then what I'm actually going to do is once that's set in place, I'm going to take that strip of hearts and I'm just going to put that into the center, on the inside, not the center, on the inside of my card. And you know, and that's something that you can do too. I mean, with all of these die cuts, you've got so much flexibility. You could use these die cuts for the inside of your cards, just adhere them inside. To give them a little bit of decoration if you like doing that. You know, sometimes if we don't have a sentiment, we'll go ahead and do that as well, just to give a little pop of color. Here I grabbed one of the color card bases, and I grabbed the pink. And what's really funny is, let's see, so my idea was to use the die cuts, the sentiment die cuts, and that's love, you plus me, and what we say XOXO. So what I didn't realize was as I was placing these, and I grabbed the heart and I grabbed the flowers to place there, and I will run this through my die cutting machine. I do have the Spellbinders. I have both of them. They're awesome. What I didn't realize was I had the XOXO upside down, which is okay because I'm going to say OX, OX, OX. So, okay, if you look at it, it says ox, ox. But that's okay. You know, hugs, kisses, hugs, kisses, kisses, hugs, kisses, hugs. However you want to say it, it works. Anyway, so after that's cut out, I grabbed one of the pattern papers and I wanted to put that on the inside because I wanted that pattern to come through those die cuts. Now, you didn't have to do that. You could have absolutely left them alone, let them be die cuts. You could have put a design on the opposite, on the inside, opposite of where I put this pattern paper. So you just want to make sure that you do measure these. These are slightly a different size when it comes to their measurements. So make sure these aren't the typical 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. These actually measure 4 1/8 wide by 5 3/4 side folding. Okay, so just keep that in mind. There is a little bit of difference. I added all sequins going all over the place, just to add some brightness. So for card number 5, so I had the sentiment. Remember when I was going through this, I said, okay, this is I saw something immediately when it came to that stamp set. So what I saw was the sentiments were already in a great position. So what I'm doing is I'm just rearranging them. I'm actually going to create a background stamp with all of these. I don't want to move them too much. I just want to shift them. And I just want to shift them a little bit so that there's a space in the center, if that makes sense. So I'm just moving them either off to the side, or up on, on top of each other and so forth. So, because that bear's just too cute. I need him to sit in the center of all of that. So the way they positioned this, it kind of did all the work for me. So once I know that they're arranged and they look straight as best as I can get them, I take a repositional tape runner and I put it onto the acetate that the stamps are sitting on, because that's going to let it adhere to my plate, my door on my stamp positioner. So I'm grabbing a piece of cardstock and 3 of my Gina K inks. So I grabbed Jelly Bean Green, Sea Breeze, and Ocean Mist. And I'm just going to stamp this. So by using the repositional tape, it's staying on my door, and I'm able to come in so that I can stamp this a couple times with my inks to get somewhat of a blend. I mean, it's not going to be a perfect blend, but I wasn't going for a perfect blend. Once that's done, I take my little bear there. He's already got double-sided foam on the back of him. I place that. Now, I probably could have placed him a little bit further down, but I'm just going to fill in with a lot of the enamel dots throughout our card. The enamel dots, even though we've got some different colors there, they match perfectly throughout the entire card kit, which is wonderful. So I'm just filling in, adding some more pink, which is what the bear has, so letting that continue through. Putting in some of the green because I did stamp with some green, but also having that go around and through the top of the card. I'm going to set this down on my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 side folding card base, and here's where I just go into their double-sided tape that came with this kit. The other one was from a previous one, so I always have extra, and it's wonderful double-sided tape. It's very strong, so I always tend to keep that close by. And once that's set, that is our 5th card. Now, I actually moved into a 6th card because I noticed I didn't use any of the dies, and I always like to use the stamp set, the dies, each of the elements that are in your kit, so that you get just a little bit of inspiration on what you can do with all of the elements. So I die cut all my pieces. I use the typewriter, the rectangle, the floral, and one of the stems. So I'm using my tool-in-one from Spellbinders just to clean out my die, to get out all of those little tiny pieces, but they do come out. I mean, if I just flick onto the die, they just pop right out as well. Same thing on the cardstock. So I did use, of course, the cardstock that came with the kit. So I chose the ivory, that blue-gray, it's like a powder blue, the green, and then, of course, the tan. Now, the tan actually is coming, it's a little piece of scrap that I have sitting on my desk, and I thought it was perfect. So I'm just playing with the placement of my pieces. I thought this typewriter was absolutely adorable, and I'm liking the way that the vine could intertwine through the typewriter. I want to make sure that that card, that piece of paper sits on an angle, so I'm going to real quick glue that in place. Make sure that's secured. And I do want this propped up, so I did use the rest of my foam squares just to pop this up onto my card base. I'm going to put my leaf in place, and I just need to add glue to the base of it that's going through the space bar. And I want to set the center heart first. You can see that when I dyed with that floral, you have this center heart that comes out. So I put that in place. Now I'm going to put the floral around it so that I know that's going to stay. And then because I used that same die, I believe in card 4, to cut out my images. And I grabbed the pink heart that came from that so that I could have a pink center. I was looking at this and I'm like, we're missing something. So I grabbed this. They had this beautiful glitter doily in the die cut set. So I real quick grabbed that, carefully lifted up the piece of paper coming from the typewriter, placed that just in behind on the corner. And then I knew I was looking for the heart with the arrow. And I knew it was hidden somewhere. So I was eventually finding it. So pretty soon I have an aha moment and go, yes, that's it. I'm going to set that behind there as well, but just coming out towards the right-hand side. And I definitely used my liquid glue on that, only because it's sitting on top of glitter, and I just want to make sure that it stayed secured. Once that's all cleaned up, I pulled out those adorable sequins, and I'm going to set them all over, making sure that I use the different colors, because the sequins have pinks and whites and iridescent and peach and ivory. So there's all kinds of colors in that sequin pack, which I think is great. Now this panel is cut to be a scant 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So again, just under 4 1/4, just under 5 1/2. I'm actually, when I say that, I'm just shifting it in my cutter to like the 16th line. I'm going to remove the release paper and I'm going to set this right on top of my panel, and that is our last card. So we got 6 cards with this one, but so many more could be created. As always, this is the close-up in regular speed, so that you can see all the details of the cards that we made today. So I thank you so much for watching, and again, this was the Spellbinders card kit for January of 2019. This is what's going to get us started. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. We're going to have some different ideas coming out for this year. All of the links will be down below. So the blog, their gallery for inspiration, and again, the add-ons, the paper, the die cuts, they will, and others, this Puffy Stickers, they will always be available for separate and individual purchase, and I will have those linked down below as well. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave those down below as well, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Here are a couple other Spellbinder videos if you are curious about the other products that they do carry and available for purchase. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season, and I hope you're ready for 2019. But always remember what's most important to me. Always be creative.